I know my boyfriend's about to propose, but all I can think about is how long it's been since he last made me feel wanted. My boyfriend, 29M, and I, 29F, have been together for a very long time. We dated from the time we were 16 to 22. We then broke up for a while but got back together when we were 25. We live together and I know he's going to ask me to marry him soon, so I want to get my feelings in order before anything happens. I love him, I really do, but I feel sorta unloved. I know once couples become comfortable with each other and live together, the spark or whatever dies, but I don't like feeling like this. I still make an effort. I ask him how his day went. I'm affectionate, I put out, so to speak. A thing that really bothers me is when I say something, a lot of the time, he ignores me. When I bring it up, he says that he didn't hear me or that he was busy. For example, I'll say, "Did you see there's going to be a strike tomorrow?" And I won't get a reply. I'll wait 10 seconds. Still no reply. Then I'll ask, "Hello? Did you hear what I said?" And he'll go home or grunt in response. He does this often, just abrupt responses after ignoring me and me having to repeat myself. I'd understand if he did this if I was talking his ear off, but I'm not even a talkative person. Yet when he talks about anything, I pay attention, respond properly, validate his opinions and reassure him when he needs me to. Affection-wise, I always give him hugs and kisses. He hardly ever does this anymore without me asking. I compliment him and tell him that he looks handsome. He hasn't complimented me in any shape or form in probably over a year now that I think about it. I still look the same looks-wise. I haven't gained weight or anything. Not that that's a reason to stop loving someone, but you know how some people are, so I don't know what changed. Have things just become stale? Is this what inevitably happens? This whole situation has been troubling me for a while, but I'm not sure what to do. Our anniversary is in 2 months' time and his sister accidentally let it slip that he's going to propose. If it weren't for that, I'd think that we've been together for too long and he's now sick of me. I tried talking to a few of my friends who are already married and all I got were varied versions of "that's how men are." He wasn't like this before. He would pay attention to me, talk to me, and overall it just felt more like, Now it just kind of feels one-sided. The one time I attempted to kind of bring it up, I opened with, "Do you still like me?" Because sometimes it doesn't really feel like it, and he replied with, "If I didn't like you, why would I be here?" I could tell it was going to end up in an argument, so I just let it go after that. How do I handle this situation? I want to bring it up with him, but I don't know how to do it. I guess I'm not really good at articulating how I feel. Or should I not say anything because this is just the way relationships go? Please advise me because I'm a little lost. Update: 1 month later. I thought I'd provide an update. Thank you all for the advice, I appreciate it. So the day after I posted here, I talked to him. I told him that I feel a bit disconnected and I'd like it if he paid more attention to me and talked to me a little more. He just said okay, but I could tell that he wasn't interested. The next day, there was no change and I was a bit annoyed, so I spoke to him again. I said that I'm starting to feel lonely in the relationship and I feel like he ignores me and isn't affectionate as he used to be before. But all he said was that he didn't want to talk about it. I said that it was important and that I might want to end things if we can't talk about this. Only then did he actually pay attention. He said that he ignores me because he's tired. I understand that work is tiring, but he practically ignores me all the time. And as far as the affection and attention, he said, "I don't know. Things just change, I explained that I understood all of that, but I needed more, that maybe it was unreasonable for me to want that and maybe the type of relationship I want doesn't exist, but I would not be happy in this relationship if things stayed this way. He then said he'd try more. That he'd hug me every morning before work, try to respond more when I spoke and give me a compliment now and then. I didn't like how it felt like a list of chores he had to do, but at least he was willing to try, so I agreed. I also asked if there was anything I could work on for him, but he said there was nothing he could think of. By the end of the first week he already seemed annoyed with the hugging. He let out a big sigh and it seemed like he was doing it begrudgingly. This felt awful for me, like I'm forcing this man to give me a crumb of affection. But at least he was doing it, I guessed. My breaking point happened last weekend when we were getting ready to go to a party. It was his friend's party and it was a fancy affair, so I had to get really dressed up. His niece and her boyfriend were also going but came to our place because she needed help with her hair. She has gorgeous butt-length hair and wanted to curl it. As soon as her boyfriend saw her after getting ready, he said, "Wow. You look so beautiful. You look like a mermaid," and hugged her. No prompting, no asking, he just did it. That's when my boyfriend called me aside and said, "I guess I have to compliment you now, right?" That was it for me. I said that I was feeling sick and needed to go to the bathroom. We were all supposed to leave together, but I stalled for a few minutes and told them I was sorry and they should leave, and if or when I felt better, we'd meet them there. As soon as they left, I spoke to him. I said that I was sorry I wasted his time and I was so sorry that I didn't notice all of this sooner. I said that I appreciate his effort, and even though he was doing what I asked, it was not enough for me. I don't want to feel like a chore for someone. I understand that the honeymoon period and puppy love thing doesn't last forever, but I want someone to just like me, To like me naturally and instinctively, as a person. After explaining that, I told him that I was sorry again and that I was ending things. He started freaking out and told me to think about it some more, but I was sure of my choice. He then said that he understands and he's sorry and asked if I would still go with him to the party as our last night out, and also because he was going to be embarrassed to go alone. I felt bad because I didn't mean to do this on this day, and I didn't want to leave him hanging, so I agreed. I really didn't want to, but I went and we managed to keep up appearances. Then in the middle of dinner, he proposed. I was shocked. I didn't know what to do and felt trapped. I didn't want to embarrass him or myself, so I said yes. Everybody was congratulating us and I was in hell. It all felt so awful and it was difficult to not start crying out of frustration. In addition to us technically being broken up, he knows I hate being the center of attention in public like that. When we got home, I asked how he could do such a thing. How could he put me in such a terrible position? He said, I thought maybe proposing would change your mind. I said that it didn't and I just said yes because it would have been awkward if I hadn't. I gave him the ring back, packed some of my stuff and left. He was freaking out asking me what he was going to tell everyone, but I told him to say whatever he wants. That I changed my mind? I'm flaky? Whatever. I was emotionally exhausted and didn't care anymore. I feel awful and I wish I could have handled that whole situation better or smarter, but I panicked and now we're here. Everyone is probably going to think I'm a jerk, but I honestly didn't know what to do. Anyway, things are over now and I'm staying with my sister until I gather my bearings. He's been texting me, trying to convince me to reconsider. I honestly feel a little lost because he's the only boyfriend I've ever had and he was such a big part of my life, but I know I made the right choice. Final comments. Commenter, my jaw dropped and my hand clapped over my mouth when I read that he proposed. The audacity. He did it to manipulate you. What am I going to tell them? Like, dude, you made this mess. Mess around and find out. I'm so glad you didn't actually follow through with staying with him after saying yes. I'm so proud of you for leaving. OP, I didn't want to say yes, but there were so many people there. It was a very big party in a fancy hall and everyone was looking at me expectantly. To be honest, I didn't even speak when he proposed. I froze for what seemed like ages, then eventually just nodded. Thank you. Commenter number 2, wow. Huge bullet dodged. I can't believe that he pulled that stunt. I initially thought that you would feign sickness and urge the other 3 to go without you. Oh well. If there are any people that matter to you within the friend group, tell them what happened. I for one think you did the right thing by moving out. Just bring someone with you when you get your things, quicker and safer. See if you can do it when you know that he won't be there. OP, I initially wanted to tell the 3 of them to go without me, but he would have got mad at me and it would have been a fight, so I ended up doing this instead. I'm actually stalling getting my stuff. I'm dreading it. Commenter number 3, send someone else to get your stuff. Would your sister do it? Or at least accompany you? And shut down any and all conversation between the 2 of you? I was in a similar situation to you when I had a breakup, but I refused to be home when my boyfriend picked up his stuff. And he took his time picking his things up, hoping to see me again. Eventually, I made a like and said pick it up by a certain date or it's trashed. OP, my sister wanted to go the very next day and fetch my stuff. But it was a Sunday and I knew he'd be home the whole day, so I avoided it. My sister is the opposite of me. Very confrontational, you see, so I don't really want to go with her, lol. She suggested that her husband accompany me this weekend, so I guess I'll do that.